For globalbooknetwork.tv, I'm Zach Feldman. Thanks so much for tuning in here on globalbooknetwork.tv and on our YouTube channel at Global Book Network. Joining us over the phone right now is an author. She has a new book out called Musings for Madie. It is Stephanie Malbasa. Stephanie, thanks so much for joining me here on Global Book Network. How's everything going?
Everything is going very well. Thanks, Zach. Glad to be here.
Anytime. So this is a collection of really great quotes. Tell me a little about, what this book's all about.
Well, it started as a journal that a friend gave me, and I was having a granddaughter graduating from high school. And I thought it would be interesting to write out some of my favorite quotes and why they were important to me, and poems and some things like that. So I did that. And as my husband looked at it and said, you should type this up. This is not just for Madie. This is some good words of wisdom. Life gives you life, and everybody says that, but it truly does. And sometimes trying to navigate the challenges of life, sometimes we can be guided by some quotes. And the quotes that I selected were from over 20 years of keeping a journal and being reminded of some things as I wrote the quote down, and then why it was important, or why it resonated with me.
I was going to ask you too, how did you think up or just remember those quotes too? But I guess, you had a journal. I mean, did you always keep that journal around with you? How did you remember to always write down what was the best quote?
So about maybe 25 years ago, I started keeping a daily log. It started out with the Franklin Planet kind of thing, where you write what you're supposed to do during the day. And I decided that one of the things that I wanted to do was find a quote that was kind of based upon whatever I was reading, or whatever, how I was feeling. If I was feeling anxious, or if something caught my eye as I was reading a book. I'm one of those people who reads books and really likes to highlight certain phrases or write down the quote that somebody has written in their own books. So if I find a phrase, I've done that for years.
That's awesome. Is there a quote that you've never forgotten?
Um, probably, probably the one that kind of has resonated with me is, um, get up, dress up, and show up.
Hell yeah.
And it's kind of just real practical advice for living. I mean, it was practical. You had done it in the Plain Dealer in Cleveland. So.
My favorite quote is you have enough, you'll sleep enough when you're dead. That's my favorite quote. Yeah.
I had a
But
dad that used to say that.
I had a DJ at a radio station tell me that when I was like, I'm exhausted, and he's like, you'll have enough sleep when you're dead. And I'm like, all right, cool,
Exactly.
thanks so much, appreciate it. Uh,
Really.
really kind of you. Anyway, but I mean, you have so many great quotes in this book too. What was kind of the? I know you kind of wrote this because you had this journal of quotes, but was there a reason for publishing it?
Yes, I think when it started, it was not to be preachy or um, give advice. It was more just a reflection of how to live.
Hmm.
And um, it is something that I feel very strongly about, in that there's a lot of voices of saying what people want to say, but I felt like my voice was to say, let's do the best we can. Let's be as creative as we can, use our imagination, and be all you can be. I mean, and I feel like it was not just for Madie. I think my husband was right when he said, no, print it up.
So your husband really encouraged you
Yes,
to
yes,
go into the writing field, I guess, in a sense, because
yes.
you weren't ever a writer. Yourself, you've been a lawyer since
I was in
1979.
I've been an attorney for, well, since 1979. I will let everybody else figure out how old I am.
Yeah, no, don't even tell them that. That's fine.
So, but the challenge of I've always loved to write, though I've never published. I mean, I like to write poems. I like to have crazy stories that I would write about Rolf the bird or a remake of The Little Mermaid. So there's those kinds of things, but also writing about getting out of neutral is what I would call it. Live. Don't be afraid to connect, and don't think you're going to retire and not have something to do. We all need something to do. So um, I, I've also run a sailing school and charter business years ago. I was involved with the Aspire to Nav Foundation for 15 years, where we helped people when hope was at risk. So I've been blessed with a lot high energy.
Hell yeah, and it's been really cool to see your success grow, especially now to this point where you have this book published now on Amazon. With basically your personal quotes that you've kind of kept locked in for such a long time. Is it weird for people to finally have access to that diary?
No, this is I did have some questions as to some of the stories were my children or my sister-in-law's mother. In one quote, I know that she was an amazing woman, and I don't think I um, violated anybody's privacy in the process.
I would hope not. I mean, you've been a lawyer, so I think you'd know.
Maybe
That's
my
fair.
granddaughter, being a youthful person, when somebody Googles Madie, and they come up with the book, that may be awkward. I don't know, but
How proud of Maddie is she of you?
we have a wonderful relationship. We really do. We're just very blessed, and I have 9 grandchildren, and um, I'm very fortunate that we have fun. We enjoy spending time together.
Wow, that's crazy. 9 grandchildren? That's insane.
Children. I only had 3 children. They had more.
Well, you are extremely lucky for that too.
Yeah.
There's so many different quotes. I mean, I can't even choose from there. But I mean, is there one that's gonna you think will be kind of like the star-studded quote out of this book?
Oh, it's a good question. It's interesting. I don't mean to not answer your question, but friends who have purchased the book have shared with me that certain things have resonated with them. And whether it was my sharing about speech habits of saying like um, and trying to break certain habits, or where's it at as opposed to where um, that some quotes resonate with friends and people because they remember uh, what what they went through in terms of trying to speak. I think words matter, and um, what we say really does resonate. If you think about when somebody criticizes another person, it's personal. We don't forget that. Um, um, I can hear a criticism long after. Somebody can give me a lot of accolades. I'm sorry about my computer keeps dinging.
Oh no, I don't hear it at all. You're good.
Okay. Um, so just the idea that we have a responsibility to choose our words and speak wisely. Robin Williams,
Yeah, that's a famous quote. I mean, that's just I mean, when you think of Rob Williams, you think of that quote specifically too. I mean, he is one of the legends too out there as well. I want to ask you too, because you not only are you a lawyer, but you also you owned and ran the sailing school as well. Which is another complete 360 from actually writing or being a lawyer. too. Was there anything when you were sailing, when were there any quotes that you picked up when being part of that school?
Well, I think it was a very challenging time of our lives. So I would say that a lot of my quotes from that era were probably when I would find something that was encouraging about being positive, about not seeing the negatives. Um, you know, it's just part of life is that there's the beauty of sailing and um, the solitude and the error when you're out on the water. It's a spectacular experience, but running a business, it's quite different. So I'll leave it at that.
It's not always easy to run the business part of it, but you did it, and you were successful at it too. And it's really cool. You've kind of had all these different hats in this world. What is there any moment, when you are looking back at your whole career that you're just like, I kind of want to do more of this?
I think so. I think when I wrote in my journals for a period of time, my mother-in-law lived with us, and my parents had lived with us before that. But having that time of taking care of another human being and in the midst of trying to balance work and family, getting kids to school, being able to juggle everything. I think it was Leslie Stahl says, it's okay to do the juggling act, but you just have to remember which balls are glass. And I think she may not have been the one who actually quoted that, but that's who had said it, and I never forgot it. But there's a challenge to life, and to share some of those experiences and understand that you have to keep being creative and keep connecting with people, um, and still have conversations. Um, to have, polite conversation is kind of an oxymoron. Okay. You need to have real conversations, but you have to listen. And and I feel very strongly about that.
100%. And you gotta write it down too, because then you can make a book that is so incredible and so exciting to read, called Musings for Madie. Honestly, I'm really excited for people to check it out and
Thank you.
look at all the different quotes that you have there too. Where can people find the book, and where can people find you online?
I have a website, stephaniemalbasa.com, and the book is available at Barnes and Noble, and it's available at Hudson's and on Amazon. So
Awesome. Can we expect a book two on some more quotes, or are we still trying to fish them all out later?
I think I think it's a process of my writing that I probably will have my character have a quote that takes them further. So some of my writing looks at uh, kind of a philosopher kind of perspective, I suppose, but also how it takes the character to the next level. So
Awesome. Well, hopefully, you can continue to write some stuff for us. We get some stuff out there, and I'd love to read more of your work. This is a really really fun book to read, and just to pick up just for a quick easy go through. Musings for Madie. It's on Amazon right now. Stephanie Malbasa, thank you so much for joining me here on Global Book Network, and best of luck with everything.
thanks, Zach. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Anytime. You too as well. You've been watching the globalbooknetwork.tv here on YouTube and on globalbooknetwork.tv. You can check out all of our interviews here on our website and on YouTube, and we'll see you here next time for another great author interview.